I'm Gunnar Jeannette. I am a professional race car driver, and today I got to drive the 1964 Porsche 904. That was Briggs Cunningham's, and he won the 1964 12 Hours of Sebring in class with this very car. And this was the last race car that he competed in the 1966 12 Hours of Sebring. Unfortunately they had a DNF. The car then basically just sat with the family in the collection. Miles Collier purchased the car and kept it all original. So they fixed the engine issue that caused the DNF, and other than just doing some minor mechanical work to make sure that everything was okay, the car is as it left Sebring in 1966. And it hasn't been back on the racetrack since that day in Florida in 1966. So here today at Brian Redmond's Targa 66, we were able to get the car back out on track, and it's a very, very special moment and a huge honor for me to get to be the guy behind the wheel. Obviously Briggs Cunningham is an icon in sports car racing, and so to follow his act with this 904 was truly historic for me. If you look at the history of Porsche and where Porsche was in 1964, this is really one of, if not the first, plastic Porsche, meaning fiberglass car. Previous to that, there was the street car based 356s, and then they went into the aluminum race cars like the RSK, RS60, RS61. And so this was a big step. And if you look at what Porsche did from 1964 to 1970, when they won Le Mans for the first time, it was all plastic cars. It was, tube frame, aluminum for the most part. We've got a 910 sitting to the other side of us, and that was a couple generations after the 904. But this really set Porsche's pedigree in line for what they were going to achieve in the next couple of years. Obviously with Ferdinand Piëch coming on board and guiding the program, from 906 to 910 to 907, 908, and then, the car that everybody knows, the first Porsche to win Le Mans, the 917. So I grew up around historic Porsches. My father, Kevin Jeannette, has restored a number of significant cars with lots of cool history, and so, in my childhood, in the summertime, I would go and sit in the driver's seat and play race car driver. So to get to drive cars like these, and having the modern racing experience as well, the generations are very, very different. This is a very pure driving where there are no computers, there are no aids. It is 100% on you, and when you get tired, you can miss a shift and blow the engine, and there goes the race. Modern cars are obviously very different than that. So there's so much nostalgia and getting behind the wheel of something like this, you can just feel the history really with every upshift, every time you hit the brake pedal, for somebody like me that's been around it for as long as I have, it's just truly special. And I think with people getting more into sports car racing, I just would want to tell them, dig into the history, because there's so many cool cars and cool stories in the history of sports car racing. So one of the amazing things about the Revs Institute Miles Collier Collection is that they're preserving the race cars, preserving history, but the cars don't just sit in a museum and gather dust. The cars come out and get exercised. And so we come to events like this here at the Targa 66. We go to the Rolex Monterey Historics, the newly formed Velocity event, and also the Road Scholars events. But in addition to that, the cars do sit in a museum that's down in Naples, Florida. And so I would definitely encourage anybody that's interested, get in touch, go on the Revs Institute website. They've got a huge amount of information and multimedia photos and videos on each individual car, but then you can actually go and see the cars in person either in the museum or at a racetrack.
Support brands that support classic motorsports. Get your chemical solutions from CRC Industries. Visit crcindustries.com to learn more.